One of the most common questions that I do get asked is about quiver tips, and I think people are always looking for some definitive answer on, do you use glass or do you use carbon quiver tips? And it's not quite as straight as that, but what we do is we try and put that together to make the perfect rod. And carbon tips are absolutely beautiful, things of beauty, nice and slim, very, very sensitive, very responsive. I think what's more important, whether it's glass or whether it's carbon, is the fact if it has the right taper. And I've just got these Equus tips here that I'm just going to show you, and that kind of gives you an example of what I'm trying to say. So you'll see that this lighter one here is a very fast taper, and when I bend it, you can actually see that all the action is right at the very end of the tip, and that's because the taper of it is very fast. Whereas when you look at this one, that's a slower taper, a little bit shorter, and you can see that it's more of a through action. And I think that's the most important thing, and what I look for is, I look at the toe and the type of fish and the types of bite that I'm looking for. So I carry a multitude of different tips, and I will actually change which rod I use to make the tip that I want to work with. Because of course not all tips fit all rods. So sometimes when I'm looking for I've got a lot of toe, I like to use a thicker tip. So for instance, we have these carbon tips here that fit into the Dutch Master range, and there's a lot of toe, it's a lot stiffer tip, and you'll notice it's a lot thicker at the bottom, but still maintaining that fast taper. So I've got the action, but then I've got a thick enough tip for distance and to combat the toe. Right the way through to glass tips, which you'll see depending on, again, and I say it again, the taper. You'll see this is an 1.5 ounce tip. You've got a fast action and a slightly slower action, but because of the material that they use from, that makes them slightly thicker at this end. So if I needed to use a tip of this nature, then that would have changed the rod that I use. What we've managed to do with the Equus and the Dutch Masters is make carbon tips in a certain length to match the taper to give us the action that we need. There you are. So don't get hung up on whether it's glass or whether it's carbon. Just remember to pick the right tip for the right situation. Bites, toe, and of course casting distance. That's the most important thing.